Are you a buyer that's looking to make a purchase on your next home? If so, what is the one thing that you know you've got to have in order to make that purchase? You've got to have some sort of what? Down payment, right? And I know a down payment is a huge deal to a lot of us because it oftentimes requires a significant amount of cash that we have to release to put into our new home. Now, there are some myths about down payments on properties, and in this video, I'm going to debunk those myths, and I'll tell you what you really need to know about a down payment, and I'll really show you how easy it is to make that happen so that you can secure that next property. The National Association of Realtors recently released an article, and they said that about 87% of consumers finance their homes. So what that means is 80% of you guys out there, you take out some type of loan to secure your next property. If you're in that lucky 13% that gets to pay all cash for your property, then congratulations to you. But for most of us, we have to take out some kind of loan, and you have to put down money, of course. And I will tell you that for a lot of people, that is a big hurdle in the entire process. Therefore, they put off buying a home because either A, they don't have the money to put down, or B, maybe they have the money, but they're afraid to, we'll call it, let it go and invest that as equity into your home. Here's a big myth that I'm looking at in this data. It says 35% of consumers believe they need a down payment of 16 to 20%. And no, that is not necessarily true. I do know in a seller's market, which that's where we're at right now in early 2022, types of loans like FHA loans are tougher to get accepted, but it can happen. So if you don't have the, like this article said, a lot of people think it's 16 to 20% down. If you don't have that, you can go and get an FHA loan. And with an FHA loan, you might be able to put down about 3.5% of the purchase price of the home, which is a lot less money than this mythical, 16, 20% or whatever that's floating out there. The National Association of Realtors also says that in 2021, last year, the typical down payment for repeat home buyers was about 17%. So these are people that have an existing house and they're selling it, and chances are they have, especially today, they have some equity that has been accumulated, so they're able to pull out that equity and then they just throw it into the next property. So it's a little easier for repeat home buyers to have that money to put into your next property. And I understand if you're a first-time home buyer, you're not in that situation, so it might be a little tougher for you. But like I said, that's where you talk with your lender, and I know that there are programs out there and loan options out there that allow you to pay a little bit less down to get into your first home. So for all of my clients, what I do is I work closely with the lender, work closely with my clients, and we're all one big team, right? We work as a team to pull a deal together and make it happen. It's not that hard. You just got to communicate, and everyone has to make sure that we're all on the same page together. Hey, can you do me one quick favor? Can you just hit that like button or hit that subscribe button? Here's what happens. You hit subscribe, when a new video comes out, you're notified. As easy as that, right? It helps me, it helps you, and you get to come back and watch another video. Is that not the greatest thing that would ever happen to you? My advice for you as a potential home buyer is to not let that down payment become such a big hurdle that you are not able to jump into your first property or your next property. Home buying is one of the greatest investments that we can all make for ourselves. Of course, when you invest, there's always risk. You're not guaranteed a return, but in real estate, you've got a good chance, right? I'll just say a good chance of making some money if you stay in that property long term. And I know there are other variables out there that could cause home values to go down, but I will say in general, if you look historically, an investment in a property is a wise decision. And if you think about it versus renting, if you're renting, you're paying money to someone else. You're paying money to a landlord every month, and he or she is making that payment if they have a mortgage on the property. So you're giving them the money they need to buy down or pay down the principal on that loan, where you could be making those payments yourself. And when you're paying down that principal each month, you're making a payment essentially to yourself. Your principal goes down, and then eventually one day you get to sell that property and make the money back. So think of your down payment on a property as almost like a loan to yourself. And I understand it is locked away. The money is locked away until you buy the house or you refinance. You could refinance one day and take cash out if you need to. But just don't let that down payment be a big deterrent for you. If you have any questions at all about this video, comment, reach out to me directly, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about down payments, lenders, and how the whole mortgage process works. Thanks so much for jumping in and listening today, and I will see you on the next video. If you are looking to buy your next home, make sure you check out this video, because in this video I talk about what it means to be house poor. The last thing I ever want for any of my clients is to jump in a property and they're in over their heads and they've got all these expenses and costs every month, every year that they did not anticipate. So I outline a lot of those expenses that you could come across, so that way when you're going through the whole process of evaluating your next home, you think through budgets per month and then per year to make sure that you don't end up house poor.